Hello, welcome, creative and beautiful souls, to a new episode of Mind of the Crochet Designer podcast. I am your host, Christina Haldering, and today I like to talk about sketching because it's so funny. When I did the challenge to find your unique crochet design style, I discovered that the way I sketch my designs is not something that people naturally do when they first start with crochet design. So what I saw is that a lot of new designers, they actually sketched on the level of what they could sketch with their pencils instead of what they could actually turn into crochet. So they were sketching and designing on the level of a pencil and not on the level of stitches and colors and techniques. So that was something that I actually didn't know that a lot of new designers did. So this was such an eye opener to me. And if you are someone that is just starting out as a crochet designer, or you're like, well, I would really love to crochet design and I've made a few sketches, but when it comes to the actual creating stage of recreating my sketch, I just fall flat. And I see a lot of designers struggle with this because they actually sketch on the level of the sketch and not on the level of crochet. So a tip I have for you today is that when you create your design sketch, that you actually sketch from the level of stitches. The sketch itself actually isn't that important because that's another thing that I saw a lot of new designers trip up on is that they are like, well, I'm not even good at sketching. But you have to remind yourself that the sketch is just a means to an end. Because in the end, it's the design that matters. And actually, you don't even have to sketch anything unless you are doing a submission for a magazine or whatever. If you are fine with just a very fake outline of your design and then make a mood board with images of designs you actually also like or images of special stitches or techniques you'd like to use, then that's also fine. You really don't have to use sketching at all. So my next tip is you don't actually have to use sketches at all if this is something that trips you up. And the third one is actually a shift in perspective that when I started as a crochet designer, I would sketch so much because I'm a very visual person, so I really need to sketch it out. To get that idea from my brain onto paper is very important to me. And I would find that I would sketch and sketch and sketch, and I could actually recreate what I've sketched, but it would not be to my liking. I was like, well, in a sketch, this looks amazing, but when I actually create it in stitches, that's not at all what I thought it would end up being. And so there's this perspective change that when we try to recreate our sketch and it feels hard or it looks nothing like what we envisioned, then that's actually a good thing because this means that you are expanding on your skills. So, this is actually something to celebrate. And I want you to know that it's very normal to struggle with sketching, that you don't even have to sketch it at all. But if you are sketching and if you are new at crochet designing, then I would like you to know that it's totally okay and very normal to struggle with this part. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you really enjoyed this short episode. I really appreciate all of the love that has been given to this podcast so far, all of the reviews, all of your comments on the social media posts, and I want you to know I read all of them and I really appreciate your time submitting them. I love doing this podcast. I love to continue doing this podcast. So Thank you for your appreciation. And so I just want to wish you happy sketching and talk to you next time on the Mind of the Crochet Designer podcast. Bye bye.